Lola, welcome back to Dallas.
Thank you, my pleasure.
It has been several years since you were here.
3.5, 4 years possibly.
Yes. So what major things have happened in your life since we last saw you?
Mostly a lot of work, a lot of self-development more than anything else. Career-wise, change management. My new manager now is Mr. Joseph Skank. Politically, as far as growing intellectually and things like that, and changing location from LA to Las Vegas, I've had to learn a new social group, evolve myself into the new political circles, etc., find out who I want for governor, etc., and find out where those groups of people sort of get together and motivate the changes in the community. So I've had a lot of personal changes in my life, more so than career. Career, basically, I've been working in Las Vegas and a lot of Europe this year. A lot of Europe. And in fact, I go back again. I've been here 3 times. I go back again in about a couple of weeks. After Canada, we go up there to Sweden, Italy, France, a lot of European traveling. So
Why did you move to Vegas?
It's much slower. I needed it. I live in what you call the fast lane. I like coming out of my house and not running into traffic. I like that quiet. And Vegas is not just the Strip. Once you get away from that, it's very low-key, very quiet. It's a very small social group, but at least you get to know everyone, whoever is. And when I feel I'm in a cultural desert, I travel so much. In fact, part of our agenda for traveling is to call ahead to the cities, find out what they do have to offer. It's like we know we're going to Canada, and my secretary June has already called to Canada. Is the ballet there? Is there some exhibit in the museums there? So that we do get a very fine round absorption of culture from around the world. So when I do get to Vegas, if all they have is a Strip, okay, I don't mind. I'm ready to kick back anyway. So it works out fine.
About how many weeks out of the year do you work Vegas then?
Prior to this year, I worked approximately 15 to 20 weeks in that area. Now Vegas has gone through an incredible metamorphosis, incredible change. It has now gone to primarily production shows. Most of the headliners are not working in Las Vegas. They're working in Atlantic City. I work 3 or 4 different showrooms in Atlantic City now. I work Caesars in Atlantic City, but Caesars is going to production. I work resorts, I work the Playboy, whatever. And Las Vegas didn't believe that they were, they thought they were recession-proof, inflation-proof, etc. It is a severe assault on the country, what has happened now. I think that a lot of things were inevitable, had to be changed, no doubt about it. You can't keep going the wrong way at the speed they were going, but you can't reverse it at a high speed like that and not cause shock amongst even people who were not amongst what you consider the poorest, but people who just basically were hanging in there. Or people who were doing fairly well are no longer just hanging in there. It's just all of a sudden, 1 minute you do, 1 minute you don't survive. There's people just can't deal with what's happened to them. So I think that the effect, the airlines also, people just don't have time to think of pleasure very much. And they're more involved in, can I at least pay the rent, keep my house, feed my family? The bare necessities are what is on their minds. And the numbers, the businesses that are failing in the country, they say approximately 600 a day. Well, Las Vegas is in those stats because the only industry there is the hotel. Well, that deals with people who are in a state of leisure. Well, that's the last thing on their agenda when they have problems. So a lot of the hotels have cut back. Also, I think places like the Riviera, who bought in the recording artists for extraordinary amounts of money, has set off a ricochet through the town that hurt a lot. Because, you know, recording artists can do a concert 2 or 3 nights and make a couple $100,000. Well, in Vegas, you must work 7 nights a week, 2 shows a night, and still don't make that kind of money. So their demand was much higher, which upset a lot of entertainers who came through the ranks of lounge and opening act and that sort of thing. And so it just upset the apple cart. Personally, I'd love to have the old bosses that used to be there and knew how to run the business by its psychology, not by other psychologies and other businesses. We're not a supermarket. We deal with the mental, the psychological thing of having fun. It's supposed to be the biggest playground in the world, and now it's a supermarket in my mind.
For the performers, Lola, let's just say for Lola Falana, given everything being equal, which would you rather work, Las Vegas or Atlantic City?
I like to work the world. You know, I love it all. I mean, wherever the people show up, it's just wonderful. My joy is when I come off and I feel them giving back to me because of what I have given to them, the circle is complete. I'm happy. It doesn't matter what language they speak, what country, whatever. It doesn't matter, just so the soul and the spirit is happy. And that's all over the world.
Are you working out of the country more because of the recession in our country?
Not primarily that. Mainly because I'm coming out of Vegas more. But because I did a couple of things in Italy, which has always been like a second home for me. Specials there, which I consistently do. And what they do is send them around all the other countries except America. And that makes me in demand in countries I haven't been, like Sweden. I've never been. But they saw the footage from the special in Italy. They tracked it down and said, would you come here? Our people know you now. So as Italy does this, in turn, they find me and they ask me to come, and it's always a pleasure.
And the money there is
fabulous.
Yeah?
They realize what it means to pick it up and pack it up and move it and fly that far and come and do one show or 3 shows or a week or whatever. It's not the same as it is here. And it's worth it. If you can't bank, there's no need to work.
I love the way you put it.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I want to do a charity or a freebie, I will choose that on my own. But basically, I work to see, okay, after the nut is cracked, what do I have left to put in the bank? Because the bottom line is to capitalize on my health and my success or my popularity at this moment, because it's not promised to me in the future, and to prepare for that future. Even if I become even more so, there's no one to promise that to me, and I'd be a fool to cry later and say, well, I can't pay my bills and I don't have anything and whatever. I don't want to be one of those people. I'm going to say, look, when it was time to make hay, I made it, but I'm like a little ant. I run merrily to the bank. Let's put it away, and unless the entire country and all the cultures in the world crash down and all the security, then I'll be with the rest of the people. Otherwise, I'll have something to fall back on.
Lola, as I told you, I'm going to see the show tonight, but I have heard that it's a much bigger production this time.
Yes, it is. I'm dancing more as well. The last 4 years, I have had surgery 4 years in a row. The last time was in March, and I was advised against too much dancing, stretching, pulling, you know. They thought it was causing the problems I was having abdominally. I've had 3 abdominal surgeries in three years. This year I have beat it. So this year I have complete carte blanche to dance and have a wonderful life, play tennis and everything, and I'm doing it. So that's really the reason. It was health reasons that I cut down on a lot of the physical.
The surgery was, you had injured yourself, or what?
No, just abdominal complications that came into play. We didn't know if it was because of my heavy activity, because since I was a little girl, since I was 3, very physical. And we don't really know if that has anything to do with young ladies in some cases or not. I ran cross country, I ran track, I was in 7 different dancing lessons, I was in acrobats. We don't know, but all I know is that in these years it has taken its toll. From what source, we don't know. But nonetheless, so far, no more.
Well, Lola, stay healthy, my dear. Stay healthy.
Shall. Thank you.
And thank you for talking with us. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
This.
Exactly.
And what maybe hastened it, the recession, don't you think?
Yes, but I think that when they started to putting $350,000 per week on one entertainer, and then pass that on to the people. And fight. Actually, I believe in fighting before it gets to this point, but it has, so let's carry on.
Yeah.
But I do believe in fighting. I mean, tell me what's to be lost, and I'll tell you what we must go and regain again.
Yeah.
No one. So at this point, it's better that you go back to what was a working formula.
Yeah.
When it works, why fix it, is the old expression.
Yeah.
So, and since...
Why did you move to Las Vegas? Which would you rather do, work in Las Vegas or Atlantic City? Are you working abroad simply because of the recession in this country? Are you working in Europe because there isn't enough work in this country? Do they pay well in Europe? Let's see, what else did I ask her after that? Let's see. What was the last? You're doing more dancing in this show. How come? Were these injuries that came about as a result of your dancing? The surgery, was it caused from injuries due to dancing? Now I'll just give you some reactions. Should do it, don't you think?
Let me get a sort of closer
All right.
reaction. Okay.
A wonderful piece. It's just a wonderful, wonderful piece. And of course, in anything, you know, the people, well, what I want to say is the fact that I'm doing it with Carol Lawrence is what really makes it wonderful.
Did Carol approach you with the idea, George?